Hello, this is Iron Bill back again with another video. It's been a few days since I posted. Life gets busy sometimes and I have to put this on hold, and it certainly has. And I really haven't had the time anyway because I've been working through content. Today I spent about 8 hours before the Vex Incursion event occurred so I could pick up the armor pieces for the season relatively easily, and they went back to back. I already had one. I had the Hunter gauntlets, but I did not have the Warlock or the Titan. And Bungie made up for making us wait all day long by having back-to-back Vex Incursion events, so that's what I was doing today. Anyway, this video obviously is going to be about trials and my sad, sordid tale of trials. And I haven't done this very often, and I'm a terrible player, and I'd be the first to tell people that. I've quite often said it here on the channel, but what I wanted to do is I wanted to unlock weapons by focusing engrams at Saint 14. And here I am. I've got my Passage of Mercy. I'm going to reset. I've played. I had more rounds. Well, actually, I don't reset here. I've got 12 rounds won there. That's more than I thought I had. Anyway, I played 9 matches yesterday, won 3. And total number of rounds won is probably less than 20. I mean, and it's because of me. I'm awful. So, awful enough, in fact, and this is one of the things I want to talk about, and I don't want to drone on about it. I started getting hate texts from a teammate and just telling me how awful I am. And, it wound up, that I thought, I'm not going to help you, dude. I mean, if this is how it is, I'm just not. I wasn't angry, but I thought, there's no call for this. He was being extremely toxic. Didn't leave, because I don't leave matches, but I didn't have to help him either. So, that said, it got me to thinking about the nature of how this is set up. And the conundrum that Bungie has is they have a tournament for champions here, but they don't have enough champions in the player pool to populate it. So they're forced to reach out and try to get players at my level to play because there are far more of us than there are of the elite players in this tournament. It's just not a system that's set up for a small number of players, or at least not in a way that satisfies that small number of players, because they get tired of facing sweaty players over and over. They don't want to play players on their level all the time. They want to have some fun too and relax. They want easy matches. The only way they're going to get that is if I play, or players like me. And they don't incentivize that very well, because basically it's a winner-take-all sort of scenario. So the only way I'm really going to be rewarded is by working around the edges of it. And all I get for my trouble is to get my head caved in. I don't know why players like me don't want to play, but there it is. So anyway, I do enter this because I think, okay, let's see if I can actually make some progress in this enough, give it another shot, see if I can get some ranking in here, and see what I can do. And so I did manage to get up enough rank to get an engram, and I unlocked the hand cannon, this season's hand cannon. I'm not adept, but I did get it. And that, of course, I would forget the name. I'm getting so old. Cognitive decline is a real thing, my friend, real thing. All right, igneous hammer. So, got an igneous hammer, and pretty good roll. Not adept, but a pretty good roll. So I'm happy about that. It was worth my time for that. But the whole ugly thing with the other player will make me think twice about ever going in again. Because while he was ugly about it, he did have a point. I'm awful. And, I don't know that I want to drag my teams down necessarily. But here is that conundrum again. Okay? The good players want me to play so they can play against me and have easy paths. What they never think about, and this is one of these guys that wasn't thinking about this, he didn't think it through. If you're going to have me in the pool and you're going to try to exploit the system by coming in with a duo, and they were a duo, and I was the solo who was attached to their team, what they're doing is they're gaming the system anyway. They're trying to go duo instead of a trio, so they don't match against another trio that's match made in probably a pretty solid team. They don't want that. They want to match against solo players. That's the goal for an easier path to the lighthouse. And in short, they were probably, and I can't say that for certain, but they were probably exploiting the system. Well, that means that if I'm in the pool and you want me in the pool because you want to kill me, that means once in a while you're going to have to also have me on your team. And this just, it doesn't seem to occur to people that that's how the system has to work. So, um, there he is. He's being super toxic, and then I tell you how that all went down. But I spent 4 years as a teacher. Okay, 4 decades. I'm sorry, as a teacher and retired and all that. And I can tell you something for a fact. Yelling at people does not help. It does not help. No one ever learned better because they were screamed at. All they did was they got upset, they shut down, and later on they might have thought about it after they calmed down, but in the moment, that's not going to help anybody. And um, that guy yelling at me didn't bother me on that level because I'm kind of tougher than that. I come from a highly competitive athletic background, and I've seen the type before, and it didn't touch me that way. But for other people, it would. And for those of you who are better players out there, who kind of say things to people once in a while, let me just give you a tip, okay? If this person had instead said, okay, you're bad, try to do this next time, and give me something specific to work on, something simple, move this way, go that way, stay with us, stay away from us, whatever, just something simple. If he had the time to text all this ugly stuff, he had the time to give me something constructive. I would have done it. Okay, I would have done anything. I would have chewed glass for the guy to help him if he would have been constructive about it. And that's all I'm saying. If you're playing with people that are less than you in some way, be helpful. If you can do that, we might have still lost and probably would have, but I might have learned something. Okay, we might have done better. I'm sure we'd have done better because I would have tried harder. Um, and that makes me more likely to play the next time. Because as it stands, because of everything I said, I don't know. I don't know how I serve the greater good in this. I don't know if playing helps other players or hurts them. And it seems to be 50-50. So anyway, I guess I could turn off text. I could do that. But at the same time, if somebody wants to communicate something helpful to me, then yeah. And I want to also text encouragement to other people. Um, in this one, I said, sorry, I wish I was better. And the other person said, good game, whatever. I mean, this was a positive exchange. So, anyway, that's kind of my theme tonight is that we have a system that doesn't really do what it's supposed to do in terms of establishing a tournament for the very best players. It doesn't bring enough people to it to make it work. And so instead of modifying the system, all they're doing is trying to encourage people who really don't belong in it in the first place to come play it anyway and be cannon fodder. But they don't incentivize that enough to put a large enough population of those people in to make it healthy for people on the lower end to do it. You kind of follow what I'm saying? If you don't get enough of the top end, you don't get enough of the bottom end. And I get the sense that you want that loot to be exclusive if you're on the top end. I get it. I do. But man, I mean, you got to bring something to the table. You got to bring something for the lower end players to make them want to be in there. Or you just have to. No, they should not get armor, adept armor, if they're not going to go flawless. I mean, I get it, or at least win a bunch of matches. I mean, I get that. I do. I really do. And I don't think that players like me deserve the very best weapons out of there either. I get it. I do. But whether you draw good weapons from another loot pool, you could do that. There's nothing that says you couldn't have, god rolls from a different loot pool. At least something would be happening there that would make it worth my while to stay one more match. And I think that's what we need to have. So the two thrusts from this is, if you're in here, be positive as you can be. That's what I would tell you. You're going to get more from people like me, who you're going to have to play with. If you go into solo queue, or if you dual queue and you pick up a solo, I mean, it's going to happen. Be positive. You'll be surprised the results you get. The other thing is, I wish Bungie would incentivize players like me to be in it more often, because as it is, I'll get what I'm after and I won't go back in there. Because there are better ways to spend my time, and more fun ways to spend my time. I wish I was a better PvP player, but I'm not, and that's all there is to it. So, with that said, I think I've droned on enough about that. This is Iron Bill, thanking you for watching and signing out.